just ask something? I know you probably said this last time, but I've forgotten.
That's fine.
Is the grant money for the shop separate from the individual market? It's all in one grant?
It's all in one grant. However, they do make us line item those. One of the requests we had from you last time was just a quick abstract of what our level 2 grant was. I have that prepared and I'll send it to Mr. Price.
Okay, thank you.
Any other members have questions about the shop? And we probably all know this, that Ms. Gardner helped stand up the shop in Utah. That's what you guys started with out there.
Which was a pre-ACA shop.
Pre-ACA shop. And obviously there are lessons learned from that. And I think as we see this, anything that you can share with us, because I mean, any time any of us are out with folks, we end up talking to small business owners who have challenges with providing care. Because if they're just out there buying on the fully insured market, they are very
subject to the
volatility, open and exposed, and have a lot of risk. And so I think if we can kind of communicate this, and this is as she pointed out, this is one that an element that actually has bipartisan support in terms of the concept. So I think there's a real great opportunity. Okay. All right. Seeing no other questions on this part of the agenda, we'll consider this item taken care of. On E, and it sort of dovetails what I think what Ms. Gardner was indicating. I think you all have the impression that she's a planner and she's a tester, and I think we've all witnessed a lot of problems and failures, both outside the state and even inside the state. More recently, with some of the eligibility determination systems, those complex IT projects, and so I, for one, appreciate the fact that you seem to be crossing your T's and dotting your I's.
We are sufficiently afraid of the Legislative Oversight Committee.
That's fine. That's good. That's good. We're not that scared. With respect to the establishment of a state-based insurance exchange, Ms. Gardner, if you would just kind of, brief the committee on what we talked about this on television yesterday, but brief the committee and one, what the legislature did in 2013, what we did in the previous session, and what that legislation says, and then sort of where we stand today on that.
Certainly. So Act 1500 of 2013 established the state-based marketplace, directed us to work closely with the Department of Human Services and the Arkansas Insurance Department, established a board of 9 voting members, 2 ex officio members. We have directed that board to hire an executive director and directed that executive director to hire staff. Act 398 last year, that was Senator Kendron's bill. What that bill said, in essence, was we will go with a state-based exchange. However, in the event of an adverse ruling in King v. Burwell, the legislature reserves the right to come back into special session and address it if there are any of those changes. Well, there was no adverse ruling in King v. Burwell. And so that was the only mechanism by which, through that bill, that special session would have been called. We are well on our way. One of the things you asked me for last time was I gave a brief report of what some of the Republican alternatives to a King ruling would have been, or would have been to the ACA under a King ruling. I have that prepared today to disseminate. I don't know that it's of particular interest at this point. However, the one thing I will point out is, this law will change over time, as all laws do. I think it would be maybe, perhaps, interesting to some of you to see what some of the other alternatives are out there. Not that we will see any of those go into effect any time before any kind of presidential election or Senate election. One thing that I would note is that in almost every one of these alternatives calls for premium assistance. Republicans really like premium assistance. However, with premium assistance, one of the things you have to have is a mechanism whereby people can apply for and be ruled eligible for that premium assistance. So almost every one of these calls for the establishment of a state exchange. If states are going to do any kind of block type grant, they will have to have an exchange so that people can actually go in, treat it like a market, and use their premium assistance dollars. So that's one thing that may be of interest to you, and Representative Armstrong, you had in particular asked for a copy of that. So I'm happy to give you a hard copy today and send you an electronic copy to Mr. Price.